Hello, my people, lovelies. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Depends where you are watching from at this moment of the day. Really, it's all about the Supreme Court ruling today or decision on the gubernatorial election tribunal review in Bayelsa State. As it is right now happening there. In Bayelsa State now, there are two sets or two categories of people or group there now. What are these two categories? The gladdened people and the sorrowing people. How do I mean? Some people are very joyous, excited, singing songs of praises, kneeling down, thanking God, while some people are the other side, weeping, crying, and blaming their leadership and so on and so forth for what is presently going on in that state of Bayelsa. Okay, I want us to have a thought on some commentaries or some comments made by PDP Council and also the APC Council, and the ones made by the Supreme Court, Council too. Can we just pay attention, look at this, and use it to predict what you think is going to happen on the Imo State Imo State Supreme Court review issue? Okay, let us start by talking on this issue of the former governor of Bayelsa State, Syria K. Dixon, and Senator David Lyon, whom we saw their video today. I will still tag this video at the end of this particular video. We saw them kneeling down. Maybe we can say they were on their knees after the Supreme Court struck out All Progressive Congress, that's APC suit, seeking a review on the judgment that sacked their candidate, that is ex-Bayelsa State Governor-elect, David Lyon. When this decision was made, these two men knelt down, they went on their knees and started praying, singing, thanking God for giving them victory. Well, we thank God, because nobody gets victory without being grateful to the Almighty God who granted that victory. You will see the video yourself. You will watch it. I will tag it at the end of this video. Okay, let's go ahead with some critical, comments, statements made by different councils, both PDP, APC, and the Supreme Court during this particular Supreme Court judgment review. Okay, I want us to start with the reason why this judgment was struck. Number one, the Supreme Court said their appeal lacks merit, so that that's why they couldn't do nothing about it. Like Daily Post reported that Justice Mary Odili, who read the judgment, pointed out that the application lacks merit and the decision of the court are final. So the decisions of the court are final. So I don't know why it lacked merit. Okay, look at why it lacked merit, like they rightly says there. The judge said the applicants did fail to point out errors in the earlier judgment, insisting that the judgment is final for all ages. Listen and listen good again. Listen and listen good again, that the applicants did fail to point out errors in the earlier judgment, that they did not point out errors in the earlier judgment. For that reason, the judge insisted that the judgment is final for all ages. So whether Oshomole want to talk from today to next year, they said till all ages is final. Because what they did, the application is just medicine after death. That's what he said. So my take now is what is gonna be between Oshomole and his people, even the people he challenged, that this man will never be a governor. Let's leave that. That's for them. That's politics for you. Okay, let's look at another thing. Some other comments that came up. Let's see what the PDP Council said today. Listen very well again, because I will want you guys to tell me what you think about this. Use it to predict the upcoming judgment review, the one of Imo State. Because sometimes if you are fighting, you have to, if you are fighting for two things, sometimes you have to, while you are fighting the first, you consider for some factors that may affect the second. You can choose your voice rightly. But let us not go deep in that, because the case is in the court. Let's talk about have a look on some of the comments by these councils. Let's start with the one made by PDP Council today. Okay, we said we have it here that PDP Council today submitted that Supreme Court cannot reverse itself. Hear it again. PDP Council today submitted that Supreme Court cannot reverse itself, that it is against the Constitution. It is against the Constitution. This is what they said. They cannot reverse itself. It is against the Constitution. Then a lot of questions now have come asking, how do you think the same Supreme Court will reverse any PDP ruling? Since they said this, if the Supreme Court has based their judgment on even what these PDP people have said today, how do you think that if any PDP review is coming up, that they will be able to, do something about it? Okay, let's stop it here, but we pray that they don't work on all these statements. Okay, another one is the APC said this when they were fighting for this. They said, Supreme Court, you have clearly ruled in Kogi's election that once a winner emerges in an election, no court, including the Supreme Court, has jurisdiction to entertain such matter apart from the election tribunal. You have no jurisdiction, as at the time you sat on this particular judgment. The person that made this, one of the councils that made this statement is by name Wole Olapekum. Wole Olapekum, that's his name. So, look at another thing said by PDP too. He said, you can't reverse yourself again. It is against Constitution. Correct the errors in future matters. Correct the error in future matters, not now. The same PDP saying. So, I don't know, my people, what do you think about this? And the Supreme Court now said this: there must be an end to litigation. Even if we review this judgment, every disaffected litigant will bring similar applications, and the finality of Supreme Court judgments will be lost. The finality of Supreme Court judgment will be lost if they start reviewing and reversing. That's exactly what the Supreme Court have rightly just said. But it didn't stop there. We have other news that follows it. They didn't even only struck it out or uphold the judgment, but they went as far as finding Afe Babalola Olanipekum 60, the total of 60 million if you bring everything together. Let us see how it goes here. It says the Supreme Court, today being Wednesday, fined Chief Afe Babalola, a son, senior advocate of Nigeria, and Chief Wole Olanipekum, senior advocate of Nigeria too, a son, 30 million naira each for agreeing to file an application for the review of the Apex Court judgment on Bayelsa election. Hey, this is another problem. 30 million, 60 million from these two people, because they are senior advocates of Nigeria, and they came appealing for a review on the case which the Supreme Court, being the Apex Court, the final court, has given their ruling. Knowing fully well that that is an Apex Court, the final court, they now look at the merits and the demerit of this particular case, then decided to bring it back, apply for the review by the Supreme Court. So 30 million. Who is going to pay this 30 million? A senior advocate of Nigeria. Does he do any of them have 30 million naira to pay? Or the APC is going to pay it for them? So many people are saying, don't you think this might be a kind of arrangement to put fears in the council of the Imo State former governor, Emeka Ihedioha, so that they can start withdrawing? A lot of people are saying this, that this is a kind of technical issue. Maybe they are trying to use this now to, threaten all this Ihedioha lead council, so that they will now start withdrawing, resigning, that they are not going to work again. They withdraw that they're going to work again, so that will not continue on this review, which has attracted both international, attention, so on and so forth. Because as I was even international community, they are coming to observe that particular Supreme Court review. They're interested. A lot of people are interested. The people in diaspora, people here in Nigeria, people in the international communities, they are all interested in that case, in that review. Are they trying to use this particular fine, this huge amount of money, to scare these guys, these lawyers, these senior advocates that are going to lead or defend or look into the review on behalf of PDP and the making header? So guys, what do you think about this? These are what people are saying. Okay, let's continue. They said Justice Amina Ogil announced the fine while reading the judgment in the applications for a review of the February 13th, 2020 judgment, which overturned the All Progressive Congress victory in the last governorship election in Bayelsa State. So, with tears in her eyes, the justice regretted that very senior lawyers were responsible for filing the applications with tears in her eyes. That's what he said. He regretted that such men of in legal practitioner can go such low of filing such application for review on Supreme Court judgment. Okay, she said the application amounted to an individual for the Apex Court to sit in appeal on its own judgment in violation of the Constitution. This is very, very, I don't know. This is threatening. You know, she's listen to it again. She said the applications amounted to an invitation for the Apex Court to sit in appeal on its own judgment in violation of the Constitution. That is, they are trying to lead the Supreme Court to violate the Constitution. That's exactly what the woman is saying here. Now, listen again. A 7-man panel of the Apex Court led by Justice Sylvester Ngwuta described the applications filed by the APC and its governorship candidate at the poll Lyon as vexatious, frivolous, and constituted a gross abuse of court process. Look at another person. He says is a vexatious, frivolous, and constituted a gross abuse of the court process. So, I don't know what is smelling here. What you guys are perceiving here. What is going on here? Now, look at again. Justice Ogil held that it would amount to violating the finality of its judgment if the application were granted. If the application were granted, that they have violated the finality of its judgment. That is Supreme Court talking. This woman went ahead. She said granting the application would open a floodgate for the review of decisions of the Supreme Court. I don't know what again we are to say about this. They said there must be an end to litigation, she said, adding, the decision of Supreme Court is final for ages in a matter, and only legislation could change it. That is when the law has been changed, amended. But if the law of which the Supreme Court is based at this moment, which says that it is the Apex Court, the final court, has never been changed, that the judgment of Supreme Court remains what it is, irreversible, unturnable, So my people, I don't know what you think about this. Drop your comment on the commentary box below. Tell us what you think. Watch the video I'm going to tag. God bless.